Good evening, everyone. Being 6 o'clock, I'm going to call the Coos Bay City Council meeting to order. Would you all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Thank you, everyone. Great to see everyone this evening. First item on the agenda is public comments. Happy New Year, too. Let me start off with a good one. Anyway, first item on the agenda is public comments. And so I just have a little criteria that I need to read piece so we keep it all in line. The public comment period is intended for the public to share ideas and concerns. It is not intended for the interactive discussion with the council. There may be opportunities for the public comments during specific agenda items that require public hearing. Members of the public are requested to confine their remarks or questions under the discussion during this time. During any designated comment period, individuals shall not engage.
Is by 3 B area hospital employees without YD. Firmagon stops testosterone synthesizing protein increases. Yes. Sheandra from The Bachelor Inn gives her body in an act of love with her father and becomes married. That's all.
All right.
Thank you.
And I was remiss, Councilor Matthews is online, and Councilor Stevens is not here this evening. Next person is Bob Everett on 1475 Juniper. Bob? Thanks for coming down.
Thank you. Make it short and sweet. I live on 1475 Juniper. We have an issue on 1453 Juniper with, and I would imagine a lot of you folks travel through that way. It's a shortcut to get through the other side of town, and may be aware of the garbage dump that has occurred at the 1453 residence. I've talked to the mayor about this and several officers about this. Is this an ongoing problem? And I think we live in a better community that we should be able to address this and have a better way of handling situations like this. That's really all I have to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it. Dean Lundy.
Dean Lundy, 100 Newmark. Happy New Year to everybody. Oh, this is going to be a wonderful year. Although I wanted to mention, we lost a guy this last year, Scott Woodward. He did the Pelican Harbor food thing, one of the best people I've ever known, and I just wanted to mention him. I don't know. I gave Commissioner DeNovo a letter that I sent to ODOT. Did you spread that around? Can I give a copy to the commissioners? We finally shamed ODOT into coming down and measuring the intersection at Market Street and 101 North, and so they're down here measuring that stuff, and I think I've saved the city $1.5 million. It's their lookout. It's their road, it's their lookout. And so a few of us, no names, but it sounds like Mike Powder and Eric Clough and stuff, we've been trying to connect the boardwalks, as you know. So anyway, and I wanted to show you an idea for the Charleston Sharrows and stuff. So anyway, Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you, Dean. Mike Powder.
Mike Powder, Coos Bay, Oregon. I haven't been around for a while. Towards last year, I did a lot of traveling, and every time I go to a place, I look at their infrastructure. And going all down California, at Santa Cruz, Morro Bay, all the way in, I did go into Arizona, broke down in Arizona. But everywhere I go, I see the activity of people. More and more people are getting on bikes, older people getting on electric bikes. And I hope this year we can start addressing safer bike routes for people here in town, safer bike infrastructure, pedestrian infrastructure, and hopefully crossing the streets and find some way to sort of slow down the traffic. We're going to get increased traffic. I was just in Seattle. I couldn't believe how horrible the traffic is there. Traffic's growing. Our cars are bigger, faster, and everything else, but traffic is getting gridlock, and they've got a good public transit system up there and everything else. So anyway, I just want to let you know I'm back on the block, and I'm still working on road safety and transportation for everybody, but I'm not so much, I'm a bike enthusiast, but I'm more of a transportation enthusiast. So I want to sort of work on all forms of transportation for people that can't ride. From what I read a statistic, something like 30% of the population of the United States does not drive. You know, that's kids, old people, people on DUIs, they're not supposed to drive, and so on and so forth. So that percentage of people, they're usually pretty quiet about what they've got to deal with, and they just go ahead and, you know, grit their teeth and just deal with it. You know, you see it all the time when people are walking on the streets where it's pretty dangerous. So anyway, that's my welcome New Year. Thank you.
Welcome back, Mike. Tanya?
Yeah, ignore that.
Ignore
was
that?
me. Thought it was a sign-in. It's been a long day.
All right. So is there anyone else that would like to speak at this time, make a public comment? No? All right, thank you. So I'll close the public comments. I just want to follow up with Bob Everett, and he's correct. On Juniper, it's been an issue, and it's not the only house in the city that we have some problems with, and I understand that. I have gone by there a couple times because it is close to my house, and I use it as a thoroughfare to cut through to Ocean Boulevard, and hopefully we can find a way to address some of these issues, and it's something that's a problem, and I apologize that the citizens have to put up with it. It's just something that unfortunately we have a process. It's not the easiest thing to get through. So, but I do appreciate you contacting us and letting us know, because without us being contacted and contacting the police, we can't do anything about it. So thank you. Anyway, appreciate it. Okay, with that being said, the next item on the agenda is presentations. The first one is presentation and appreciation of service plaque for Fire Chief Mark Anderson. Mark, come on up here. We're going to do this a little bit differently tonight. 36 years of being here and servicing this community is something that is a wonderful situation. I can't express the gratitude that goes along with that. So, see, you started in 1989 as a firefighter and engineer, then worked up to a firefighter 2, and then went to a captain and shift office. Now, if I get this wrong, you tell me. And we don't have a PowerPoint, darn it. We do. And of course, it wouldn't be complete without a Myrtlewood plaque. And so, presented to Mark Anderson, Fire Chief, in recognition of the 36 years of dedication, courage, and leadership in the fire service. Your unwavering commitment and selflessness service have safeguarded our community and inspired those who had served alongside you. Fire Chief, Engineer, Fire Chief 2, Captain, Shift Officer, Deputy Fire Chief, Battalion Chief, Acting Fire Chief twice, and Fire Chief. So again, thank you so much.
Say a few things?
Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you do it here?
Oh,
Sit down. You're more than...
Working for the fire department has been so much more than a job. It's been a major part of who I am, and it has had a positive impact on my family. I've been able to model the importance of service to my kids, and because of the work schedule, I've been able to spend meaningful time with them while they were growing up. I'd like to thank my wife of 37 years and my family for their continued love and support, and to my fire service family for their shared vision of pursuing excellence and for putting up with my complex sense of humor. There are two famous quotes that generally sum up my career. The first is, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And the other is, if work isn't fun, you're not playing on the right team. While I recognize there are times when it's important to be serious, I hope that people can see that I have thoroughly enjoyed my 36 years with the Coos Bay Fire Department. I would stay for another 10 years, but I owe it to my family and to the city to know when it's time to call it quits. I am proud to have had the opportunity to serve this community that I love and work alongside some truly wonderful people. When I was appointed as fire chief 12 short years ago, my predecessor, Chief Stan Gibson, gave me one last piece of sound advice: to leave things better than they were when you started. Thanks to our outstanding staff, I believe that the fire department is better trained and better equipped than ever before, and I'm confident that under Chief Adkins' leadership and the guidance from City Manager Rutherford, the department will continue to thrive. So thank you again for this opportunity.
All right, the next item, and Mark, I hope you come back with that PowerPoint. I do expect to see it, all right? Thanks again. So next one, we have two more presentations that I want to mention and give recognition to, and that's going to be Bev Myers and Coco Sutton. If you both would just come up to the podium. I know we're going to trying to do this a little bit differently, where we can have me address everyone in a certain way that makes it better for us, I believe. So just come up here to the front, please. Why don't you just face the audience and let me speak to you, both of you, all right? So Bev has been for over 22 years as a member of the Parks Commission, countless hours volunteering for Chelsea Gardens over the decades. Truly a champion of Mingus Park. I'd like to add a little bit more. So her and her husband, Tony, were the driving force behind developing Chelsea Gardens. Her mom was instrumental in getting this started. In fact, her mom, Gloria Hillstrom, was the first one honored on the mayor's appreciation plaque. This goes back in time, so I'm going to reiterate, this plaque was started because of my wife, Tricia Benetti, who also had the Oregon Connection House Merdwood, where Tony, her husband, worked, and Bev would come down and help out many times. So I remember those days. They were good days. So anyway, I appreciate all that, and your mom and Tony. I also want to take this time to recognize Coco Sutton for her years on the Parks Commission, spearheading the Adopt a Park program and the advancement of the Mingus Park Community Building, previously known as the Scout Cabin, currently being presented for addition to the Natural Historic Register. So please help me thank these two individuals for their volunteerism and what they have done for our community. Please, thank you. Without volunteers, this community could not exist. And I got a couple plaques here. And of course, Myrtlewood, right? So, the first one says, presented to Bev Myers in appreciation for your service to our community while serving on the Parks Commission 2002 to 2024. Thank you, Bev. And Coco, in appreciation for your service to our community while serving on the Parks Commission 2020 to 2024. Thank you. So it's just a small token of our appreciation. We can really never thank them totally for everything they've done. But again, without volunteers and their commitment, we wouldn't have the wonderful city that we have. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mayor Benetti, City Council, and City Manager Rutherford, thank you for the opportunity to provide you with this update tonight. My name is Lexi Woodward, and I'm the Executive Director of the South Coast Development Council. I moved here from Texas for this position and began on January 8th. However, I am a native of Oregon. I grew up in the suburb outside of Portland called Lake Oswego. So I've been in economic development for around a decade, but this is my first time being able to practice in my home state of Oregon. So the basics of the South Coast Development Council is that we are a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to regional economic development. We are headed by an executive director, supported by a member-elected 7-member executive committee, and up to a 30-member board of directors. We are headquartered at the Newmark Center on the SWAT campus here in Coos Bay. However, we serve Coastal Lane, Douglas, and all of Coos and Curry counties. We are an extension of the City of Coos Bay's economic development team. This year, we are celebrating our 25th anniversary. We were originally formed by Coos County members in the City of Reachport, and the City of Coos Bay was a founding member to improve local economic prospects through traded sector recruitment and attraction. We expanded in 2014 to include business retention and expansion services, as well as an expanded territory. We now unite and promote the 12 incorporated city and 4-county region of the South Coast. We engage public and private stakeholders across the region to pursue economic development opportunities while providing complementary technical assistance to retain, expand, and attract companies and industries that provide living wage jobs in and to our territory. So when we were founded, it was on the basis that there was concern over the proliferation of minimum wage only jobs. So that was one of the reasons we were formed, to promote, higher than minimum wage jobs, living wage jobs. We provide both a public and member-funded benefit through annual memberships, private foundations, and grants. Right now, we have 2 big grants, one with Business Oregon, which is the state, and one with the Economic Development Administration or the federal government. However, this is all with the understanding that funding is meant to create the largest collective economic impact. It is not exclusive to those who fund our activities, so you do not need to be a member of ours to take advantage of our services. You can see up there our board of directors and executive committee. City Manager Rutherford is on our executive committee. She's our treasurer. And then City Councilor Stephanie Kilmer is on our board of directors. The City of Coos Bay is one of our top annual members. They contribute $20,000 a year to South Coast Development Council. Our team consists of me, our entrepreneurship program manager, Tanya Rasley, who's here with us tonight. And then Bress and Lamar Hoy started yesterday. He's over here. And he is our new economic development manager. He will lead proactive business attraction, recruitment, retention, and expansion efforts. So this is a list of the services we provide. For business attraction and recruitment, overall we promote the region and real estate opportunities to companies outside the region, as well as brokers and site location advisors, developers, and investors. We connect prospects to a variety of information, including incentives, workforce data, utility, government, and other resources and contacts. And then overall, we resolve pre-move and move-in challenges. And in the green, which is hard to see, those are ways in which we've served the City of Coos Bay so far in, now past 2024. We reviewed the 150 South 4th Street RFP and have done our best to market that as capacity allowed, but Lamar will really be able to step that up. There was a national distributor business lead that we assisted with. We submitted Coos Bay sites for 3 state leads. We provided information and next steps to a potential hotel boutique that was interested in the area. There was a surgical instruments prospect that we worked, and more. For services that fall under both retention, expansion, and attraction, We provide assistance to site selectors. We also act as the enterprise zone manager for this zone called the Bay Area Enterprise Zone. The Bay Area Enterprise Zone is a state incentive program that has to have a local manager. CCD Business Development Corporation has managed it for the past 20 or so years, but they wanted to pass the reins off to somebody new effective the first of this year. So SCDC stepped up to take over management of this zone and then 2 other zones within our territory. The 4th remaining zone is going to go at it on their own, so we'll learn it together.
Pardon me, Lexi, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm having a hard time hearing online, and I think that maybe just a little bit of distance between you and the mic might help.
Yeah. Oh, distance. Add distance.
Yeah, that's much.
Oh, okay. Excellent. That's even better. Okay, I was like, I don't think I can get any closer. Okay. So we also, on our brand new website, which launched a couple months ago, we have an interactive economic development map, which I'll talk about a little bit later. We recently updated our top employers list for the region, and that's something that investors looking to invest in the region ask for, is they want to know who the major employers are in the area. And then we manage about 80 available property listings that are embedded onto our website as well. We also host a bi-weekly South Coast Economic Exchange, and that's for anybody interested in economic development to join us virtually for an hour every 2 weeks to dive a little bit deeper into a topic related to economic development. So every month has a new topic that is loosely based off of the comprehensive economic development strategy that the CCD Business Development Corporation facilitates every 5 years. So in the recent months, focus has been childcare, housing, and this month we're on utilities. We also have recently launched a buyers and sellers database because there was a need for somebody to have a database of who was looking to sell their business and then who was looking to buy a business. So we would be contacted by one party or the other, and this way we can connect them to one another. So I've started that, but Lamar will take it and run with it. As far as what we've done to help the city of Coos Bay under that category in 2024, we currently serve on the Economic Opportunity Analysis Project Advisory Committee, and we also served on the Coos Bay Downtown Association Economic Vitality Committee until Alina started and took that over, and then I served on the interview committee for Alina. For business relocation and expansion assistance, we connect businesses with expansion incentives, workforce assistance, and other resources and contacts. We help resolve retention and growth challenges. In 2024 examples are there was an arts-based business that we assisted with the relocation, a service-based business expansion we assisted with, as well as a nonprofit business expansion that we assisted with. So that's a couple images from our new website. The top one says your South Coast Navigator. That's our homepage. And then you can see below that, that's the Coos Bay listings that we're maintaining right now. But that's going to get a lot bigger now that Lamar's on board. But those are embedded, all of those sites are embedded on our website under available listings, under Invest Here on our website. And once those are on our website like that, investors, developers, brokers, businesses, they have access to all sorts of data that you can't quite see the tabs, but it comes with workforce data, demographics data, all sorts of stuff that they will care about. And then our interactive map is on the bottom right. I put in the address of this location, and then you can toggle on and off all the layers that I think people interested in investing would care about. So you can see what incentives directly overlap with this exact address. You can see what utilities service this address, how far we are from the commercial airport, how far we are from the International Port of Coos Bay, how far we are from anything that I think they would care about. And then you don't have to put an exact address. You can just focus in on an area that you're interested in to see what's available. So those are just two of the tools we have on our new website, but there's many more, and I really encourage you to check it out. It is a tool for all of us to utilize. It's made to be kind of a self-help tool. It will help with our available capacity for businesses and other folks to be able to access this information without even having to come into contact with us. And then if they need further assistance isn't available, then we can help. Are there any questions so far?
Anyone? I guess not.
Okay. So entrepreneurship is something that we launched really hard over 2024. That is a result of two major grants that we got. So the South Coast Accelerator, which is the marketing brand name for the business incubator, opened in July of 2024. And that provides a hub for startups in the tech, clean energy, shipping, manufacturing, and blue economy. So that's located on our same floor at the Newmark Center on the SWAT campus. There are currently 3 tenants with 2 strong leads for moving in early this year. Tanya toured 4 Coos Bay businesses that were interested in moving into the incubator, including a manufacturing company as well as an app developer who did end up moving into the incubator. She advised 6 Coos Bay businesses, including 2 women-owned businesses and a business consulting business. And then she successfully launched the first Coos Bay Co-Starters Core cohort in September of last year, graduating participants in November. So the bottom left picture is of one of their sessions. It's a 10-week course for 4 hours. There were 5 applicants to begin with. We lost one over time, but that's still a success because they determined that entrepreneurship wasn't the route they wanted to go. So that's still good that we serviced them in that way. So 4 ended up graduating, and the bottom right picture is of the graduation ceremony. The top right picture is of the entryway into the business incubator, and we'd be happy to provide a private tour for anybody who would be interested at any time. And then we also have a Bay Area Chamber of Commerce business after hours scheduled for later this month, where Tanya will be running tours. And the City of Coos Bay was an active partner in this grant. So what we've got planned for 2025 later this month is the first ever Coos County Pitch Night. You can see the flyer there. We have 2 new entrepreneurial ecosystem partners that have moved into the business incubator to better serve the tenants. That is the Blue Earth Federal Corporation, part of CT Clusi. They are like a business incubator within our business incubator, serving their clientele specifically. And then Business Oregon, the Economic Development Department for the state, their regional development officer has moved in as well. So this way, tenants in the incubator have access to the Small Business Development Center on the same floor. They'll help them do their business plan. They can stay up in the incubator for up to 3 years. The price increase per year to get them ready to enter the regular commercial market. And then after 3 years, the SCDC will help them locate into a commercial space.
Lexi, is CT Clusi, is that the Confederated Tribes of the Coos, Lower Umpqua, and Sayus
Yes.
Indians? Okay, thank you.
So the plan for expanding co-starters is to do a boot camp, which is a 2-day intensive course instead of the 10-week, 4-hour per week course in Roseburg in February. We are going to do the core program in Reedsport, and of course, Coos Bay businesses and entrepreneurs are welcome to attend. You don't have to only live in Reedsport, but we just did one here in Coos Bay, and that'll cycle back around as well. And then Tanya's working on a Generator Youth program, working with the local community colleges and high schools to offer a version of co-starters for the youth. And then there's a Brookings boot camp scheduled, and then this first ever Coos County Pitch Night will be January 17th. We would love for everybody to attend. It's open to the public. There will be concessions and beer and wine available for purchase. There are 5 pitchers. There were many more applicants than that, but a independent committee reviewed the applicants and narrowed it down to 5 for this first round. Every person will walk away with some cash as well as a Bay Area Chamber of Commerce membership for their first year. And the first place winner will get a $570 or so gift certificate to Katie Loy, a local marketing firm. So they'll do a pitch, kind of like Shark Tank, but really less scary, to the live audience, and then they'll be judged by a panel of judges. And you can see all those judges as well as the coaches and the sponsors. That's all live on our website. We don't just throw them out there and say good luck. They've been working with the coach one-on-one leading up to this event. So just to give you an idea of what I mean, when we do business attraction, we've created this timeline of a real life business prospect that came in May of last year. So on day one, initial contact, I was contacted by a consultant for a clean energy company based out of the Portland, Oregon area, looking to expand in the Coos Bay, North Bend area. Were this prospect to land, it would result in 30 full-time permanent jobs. Days 2 through 15 were all about referrals. So they were a hydrogen company which needed wood inputs to fuel their biodigester to create hydrogen. So we just contacted everybody we knew and tried to get as many local real contacts with wood or forestry companies that were in the area, and then we provided that to the business consultant to work directly with those companies to see if they had any wood byproduct that was available for them to purchase or that they would give to them for free. Day 11 was all about collaboration. I noticed that the Bay Area Chamber of Commerce had 4 or 5 forestry members, so I reached out to their executive director and invited her to the meeting with the business consultant, a Coos County Commissioner, and Business Oregon. On day 14, I had an executive committee meeting where I briefed them on the prospect and they gave me some additional ideas and leads to explore. And then following there, we had the meeting with the business prospect who is up from the Portland area, the consultant, Coos County Commissioner, only because he is a bit of an expert in forestry and the history of that here. So I wanted him there as a subject matter expert. As well as the business itself and the executive director of the Bay Area Chamber of Commerce. That meeting went great. Immediately following that meeting, we toured 2 local businesses that work in that industry, in the forestry industry, to facilitate connections between the business prospect and those 2 local businesses. And that picture is us at one of those tours. After that, I got with Business Oregon and they came up with a suite of incentives that the company could potentially be eligible for, and I passed those on to the business prospects consultant. And then next steps, this is still an active lead. We will continue to assist the business consultant in any way that she sees fit. We stand at the ready to help with site selection, permitting, help, anything they need. We're just at the ready. Are there any questions on that? All right, that's what I've got for you. The handout is just overall just a slide or 2 I made on what I see as opportunities and challenges for the area, as well as ways that just anybody can help with economic development.
Questions, council? Anyone?
I just want to say, wow, I'm looking at your website as you're talking, and it's been a while since I've spent much time looking at the SCDC website, and to know all of the great work that you're doing, wow. I'm sure you've already thought of this, but I noticed that on the board of directors, there is no representation from either of the 2 tribes that are in this community.
Yeah.
So I would challenge you to consider reaching out to members of both tribes to see if they might be interested in serving on the SCDC board.
Yeah, we've challenged ourselves with that. And so a big step is having CT Clusie move into the business incubator. So they're joining SCDC as an annual membership, and so now they are eligible to serve on the board. So we will continue to work on that.
Very exciting. Thanks.
Anyone else?
I didn't have any questions. I just want to say thanks, Lexi. I appreciate the
Thank you.
energy and the enthusiasm you're putting towards this.
Great, thank you so much.
Jacob?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I'm a school teacher, so I'm very excited to hear about you guys reaching out to the school district and working with the high school
Yeah.
kids. So, awesome.
Yep.
So Lexi, SCDC come a long way. I hate to say that I was around 25 years ago when this was initiated.
Yeah.
Mayor Verger's watch. This was a brainchild of Jeff McEwen, who became mayor
Okay.
later on. This is something that he felt was needed. The county at the time, Lauren Weiss was the economic development person, and then they closed that office down, and there was a need to do something, and so this started. And I can tell you from where it started and where it is now, again, wow. It's really amazing to see where it's come and what a wonderful job you've done. So
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for your long-standing support.
All right.
All right,
Thank you. All right, now we're to action items. Approval of Law Enforcement Appreciation Day proclamation. Nicole.
Yes, I will just start us out with a little bit of background, and then I believe I'm going to read the proclamation. So Law Enforcement Appreciation Day is observed annually, and it's an opportunity for us to recognize and honor the vital role that law enforcement officers play in ensuring the safety and well-being of our communities. It's established as a national observance to foster public support and appreciation for law enforcement, highlighting the sacrifices made by officers each day, their commitment to protecting lives, maintaining order, and fostering positive relations within the community. The City of Coos Bay is joining this nationwide effort to express our gratitude to the dedicated individuals serving in law enforcement roles in our community, acknowledging their professionalism, courage, and service. This proclamation then reinforces the city's appreciation and encourages the community members to show their support as well for our local law enforcement personnel. So the proclamation. Whereas the safety and well-being of our community is of utmost importance, and the men and women of law enforcement play a critical role in maintaining peace, order, and public safety. And whereas law enforcement officers courageously and selflessly dedicate themselves to serving and protecting the residents of Coos Bay, often putting their own lives on the line to uphold justice and safeguard our community. And whereas law enforcement professionals not only enforce our laws, but also build meaningful relationships with residents, foster community trust, and provide education and resources to prevent crime and promote public safety. And whereas the challenges faced by law enforcement officers are many, and their work requires unwavering integrity, compassion, and professionalism in the face of adversity. And whereas Law Enforcement Appreciation Day provides an opportunity for the City of Coos Bay to express its gratitude and admiration for the dedicated individuals who serve as police officers, deputies, detectives, and other law enforcement personnel in our community. And whereas it is fitting and proper that we acknowledge and honor these public servants for their daily contributions, sacrifices, and commitment to the safety and security of Coos Bay.
Now therefore, I, Joe Benetti, the mayor of the city of Coos Bay, do hereby proclaim January 9th, 2025 as Law Enforcement Appreciation Day and encourage all citizens to show their support and appreciation for our law enforcement officers by recognizing their service, expressing gratitude, and participating in activities that foster mutual respect and understanding between law enforcement and our community. I need a motion and a second to adopt this proclamation.
I would make a motion to approve the Law Enforcement Appreciation Day proclamation.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Law Enforcement Appreciation Day proclamation. Any comments? I just want to say that our law enforcement is really an integral part of our community. It's very well supported. I think and I honor them, and I appreciate everything they do every day. I know it's not an easy job, but I definitely thank you for all the hard work you do. With that being said, I'll call for the question. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it passes. Again, thank you so much. Next item on the agenda is discussion regarding proclamations to consider in 2025. Nicole?
So we were tasked in 2024 with coming up a recommended list of proclamations, trying to identify the proclamations that we previously had done, and then potentially some additional ones, kind of creating a wide scope of acknowledging the different work that the various departments do here, as well as the organizations that help support this community in different ways. So what's presented for you is that list. We've also added the date or month or period that the proclamation is identifying, and then also just as a reference point, when we would potentially bring those forward to you at the appropriate council meeting. And that piece is just identified because you can see it kind of bulks them together in order to get them in the right period for adoption if you're interested. This, of course, is just a representation of what we believe might be a good option for you to look at. After putting together this list, we had a couple more proclamations that were brought forward as options. So we could continue on this, having something every day, but really trying to figure out which ones are of the most importance for the council to project your opinion on what you'd like to get behind and support. So I don't know that we necessarily need a decision, you know, immediately. However, we would want to, you know, maybe get some feedback at least by the next proclamation date.
So council, would you like to review this a little bit longer, think about it? I mean, I can imagine the list could be almost endless. At some point, we need to think about how we manage this. And part of the reasoning behind this, and I might be wrong, but Colby can correct me if I'm wrong, that this really starts to task staff at some point if we have so many proclamations. Not that they're all not important in our community, because there are, but that being part of the issue. So I don't know if the council wants to.
I have
Go ahead.
a comment. I know you're
Yes.
shocked by that. So I had encouraged this council a number of years ago to make sure that we were acknowledging the diversity of this community. And so I see a portion of that represented here. And I thought we honored the Filipino community as well. I don't see that on this list. I think these proclamations, while I recognize that they do require work amongst the staff, I think they're important because they are representative of people in our community. I always believe that we should be as inclusive as we possibly can. So I would also like to challenge the staff to not only, let's move beyond just a proclamation and perhaps and I know we're doing it already, but I think it's an opportunity to educate. And so I see us doing this in the Coos Bay update, the Friday update, that when we're doing these proclamations, I'd love to see us take it a step further and educate people about the proclamation or about, the subject matter at hand. So I'm really supportive of this, and I imagine if there's additional ones to consider, we can just give those to staff for consideration.
Sure.
Okay.
Do we have a process if somebody wants to have the city consider something? I mean, to me, if you just do a proclamation, too many of them, they lose the point of a proclamation, which is to bring and highlight something. And these are all great, and it could be an endless list. But if somebody is very profoundly interested in bringing something to the city to consider, do we have a process for that?
So historically, what the process has looked like is they have been presented. You may remember we had one, it's probably been a couple years ago, about brain injury awareness, and they came and asked, and in the following year, we added that to the list. So that's kind of been how we've done it if they're presented to us, and sometimes we've made those decisions, within staff because it's in support of, something that the city does and or one of our partners might do. But the ones that kind of sit on the fringe, we'd probably bring to you to make sure that that's something within where you believe we should promote. I do have, follow up on the timing. Of course, there is some timing associated with, I wouldn't say it's an immense amount of time, but the concern we did talk about internally was if we add 5 or 6 at a time at a meeting, does it reduce the value each one should really get that attention for? So, but again, all of these feel really valuable, and the list could continue. The 2 that we received as a request were related to the National Burn Awareness Month, which is a significant issue for both the younger folks in our community and the older folks in our community who face burn accidents. So drawing attention to that, use it as an educational campaign. I mean, there's some pieces of value there. We also had an ask about Firefighter Cancer Awareness Month. Again, a significant issue, something we want to address. We did try to capture something for each department, so in this list already. So again, could be up to you guys to decide if you want to look at all of these as they come up. We could end up with something every day.
So I'm confused. Are we? I guess my question is, are we focused on city or are we focused on community? To me, proclamations shouldn't necessarily just focus on things within the city, the city proper, the city hall, but the community as a whole.
I think that was a number of years ago when it was more city-focused. And so I think I had asked if we could, recognize the diversity of the community, and I think we've done that, and we've added that component. So, I mean, I think now it's both, but we only did that 4 or 5 years ago, and it falls in line with our goals that we have set.
I'd like to circle back to Councilor Kilmer's question about the process that if community members wanted to suggest. It sounds like what you're saying is they would come and present at public comments or something, and that's kind of the process.
That's how it has been in the
exists.
past. The
Okay.
challenge with that is we may get it right when it needs to be addressed. And that's happened in the past. We had to kind of put that off, put it to the list till next year and address that. So, I mean, we could certainly put something in the Friday update to, the next time we do a proclamation to talk about what that looks like, if there is interest for people to bring that forward. We just want to make sure the timing is appropriate so that you do have the opportunity to, pass that proclamation in advance of.
I think I'd feel more comfortable if that went to the city first, and then the city made that decision, or you, Nicole, made that decision, and if you thought it needed to come before council, then we could make that decision.
Sure.
I agree.
Okay. Carmen, how you feel about that? Sound good?
Yes, that sounds good.
All right. All right. Next item, consideration to join Oregonians for the Floodplain Protection Coalition. Nicole, this is a big topic, so a lot of information.
Yes, so I'm going to open us up, but I am certainly not the subject matter expert in this arena. So we all have had recent information shared regarding the FEMA buy-up, their opinion, which puts some challenges on coastal communities. Oregon is sitting in the forefront of that. We have stepped through the process that was designated to be done by FEMA, and that was done in relationship to their settlement for a legal action brought before them. We've since been made aware that there is a group who is organizing to prepare legal action against FEMA in their PICM process, which is the pre-implementation compliance measure. We were asked if we wanted to participate, and that can be many levels, including a financial contribution towards that. So I think if there's any questions, the materials that we received are included in the packet. I think Chelsea and or Nate both have had some interaction with this, so we are certainly open to answering any questions you might have.
I might point out, I received an email today from Molly Lawrence, who's the attorney kind of spearheading this thing. And she indicated that a lawsuit's been filed and a motion for a restraining order has been filed as well. She indicated she was going to send copies out, but as of just a few minutes ago, I had not received that yet. So when I get that, I certainly will share it with council and Nicole, of course. It sounds like they've already filed the lawsuit, and the question is whether we want to join in, and in the form of basically supporting it with a $10,000 contribution.
So if we supported it, is that, we supported it at the $10,000 level, is there any other liability to the city if we support this?
No, I mean, if the lawsuit goes nowhere, then we're out to $10,000. I mean, you do anticipate that, you pay $10,000 now, maybe later on down the road, they'll want another $10,000, that can go. But that's certainly within your decision-making process, whether you want to do that down the road. So I don't see any real downside to this. I am also not an expert at this, but I have talked to Ms. Lawrence, who is an expert at this, and I've reviewed the material, and it sounds to me like FEMA was kind of put in a position where they just kind of a knee-jerk reaction and basically have created a path that puts a lot of the burden on the cities and the counties in order to avoid their obligations. So I don't see a downside in joining it, but of course that's up to you to make a decision whether you want to or not.
Tiffany?
I had can appreciate that, because I think it's important, you know, in this forum that we communicate the reason that this is so impacting and why the city would even consider getting involved. Can we elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, so for communities like ours where entire downtown is in a floodplain that impacts every development, potential development. And so in a climate where we need housing, where we're trying to spur the economy, it's one more step, it's a barrier to that process of developing. Adding additional requirements, there's already National Floodplain Insurance Program standards the city has adopted. Those are in the Code of Federal Regulations. But what FEMA has done, they've gone above and beyond without changing their code and said, hey, communities, you need to now also essentially regulate ESA. You need to require mitigation. That's not anywhere in adopted code. And so it's putting a burden on the community to do something in a manner and a time frame that's just not really realistic. And it's not something that they themselves have even actually adopted, implemented. They're just asking the communities, not even asking, telling the communities to do it. So ultimately it impacts our development. Anytime anybody wanted to come in, build a building, put a parking lot in, put up a fence, they would have to go through all this analysis to show how it does or does not impact the threatened species that are identified in this lawsuit. And then they would have to mitigate certain ratios of mitigation, preferably on site. So it almost just makes it not possible.
Not possible to develop.
It wouldn't pencil out often, yeah.
So could, first of all, and it's 6 inches, like a 6-inch tree?
Diameter,
right.
Any tree 6 inches in diameter or greater, you have to, if you remove it, you have to put so many back.
So, in your opinion, could Coos Bay Village be developed under this criteria?
So if Coos Bay Village was just bare dirt, bare ground, under the current criteria, they would say for the volumetric building area, plus the impervious parking lot surface, plus any trees that were there before, you would have to do X amount of mitigation on site, which would then remove area they could actually develop and use for economic purposes, right? So maybe it could have been done, but it would have made the project much less, and I would think potentially not pencil out.
So probably not happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about another example? If the city wanted to develop a lot or had a lot, let's say at 4th and Anderson,
yeah.
that has sat vacant and is up for development, would that be impacted?
It would, for sure. We'd be expected to provide mitigation on site, so the lot is not very big as it is. And if you're trying to provide the structure for a use and any parking that you'd want to accommodate on site, plus the mitigation, whether it's stormwater, landscaping, vegetation, that mitigation itself could be half the property and therefore make a project really quickly not work.
Yeah, I mean, you know, so I don't know, were you at League of Oregon Cities when this came up and the presentation was made?
I was not at that meeting.
Well, and I was going to ask, doesn't having this potential make them have to review it or look at it? I mean, potential lawsuit, would it
Well, they'll have to defend it, and, yeah, I mean, in a certain respect, that the court's gonna take a look at it and decide whether they had the authority to issue these rules, because they haven't followed the process or normally involved in issuing rules. So, yeah, that might well cause FEMA to rethink their position. I would like to think so, but we shall see. But if I am correct in the email I got, with the lawsuit being filed and them asking for a restraining order, basically telling FEMA, if they win their restraining order, that they can't enforce these at this time. Yeah, I think it's certainly something FEMA's gonna have to think about.
I feel like we're the largest city on the Oregon coast. How can we not be a member of this and provide the financial contribution?
I will point out, if you look at the map of the counties that are impacted in some way, there's literally only one county in the state of Oregon that's not impacted. And there's a number of counties that have minimal aspects, but the vast majority of Oregon counties are impacted, because it's not just the coast, it's rivers, it's streams, it's,
Fair.
yeah.
Yeah, so, Nate, so the thing, I'm glad you mentioned the restraining order. So, I know, wouldn't it be best, I mean, the more that could participate in this, doesn't have more of an impact, or am I wrong?
No, I think that does have an impact. I mean, obviously, the court's supposed to make a decision based on a law and the facts under the circumstances, but I think sort of the more the merrier in a certain respect, because one, and the more people involved, it's less cost to each one, each individual. Plus, it shows, as Council pointed out, that we're very much interested in the outcome of this, and we're very much affected by the outcome of this, one way or the other. So, and in view of the fact that it doesn't really have a downside effect other than the cost to us, it makes a certain amount of sense. Not that I'm advocating one way or the other,
Sure.
It's not my job.
But didn't this firm also sue FEMA one time prior?
I think they did. I don't have a lot of information on that. But this Ms. Lawrence, their firm, they're experts in this field.
Okay.
They really are. And they're the ones that put together one of the handouts you have. They're discussing the problems with FEMA's actions and why they think that a lawsuit and a restraining order have great merit.
So one other question. So this bothers me. So FEMA is for disastrous, form. Am I correct? To come out if you have a flood or some kind of criteria, they would come in and help. So how, in my opinion, how are they able to leverage that if you do not participate in this FEMA buy-up? Then we will not give you any, protection under our federal emergency act.
I think that's one of the issues. Can they really do that?
Right.
And again, that's a little beyond my knowledge level there.
Well, it just seems like it's frustrating.
I think those are some of the issues that are being raised in the lawsuit, is that, do you have the authority to do this kind of thing? Do you have the authority to make these rules? Do you have the authority to sanction the potential sanctions, which of course would be not being able to purchase flood insurance in the city, and other ramifications like not being able to have disaster relief at the federal level if we have a disaster. So there are some serious ramifications of not having the ability to get flood insurance.
Right.
Mr. Mayor, I interrupted you when you were talking about the League of Oregon City. This was a major topic for discussion there. Did you have anything?
Well, you were there, Nicole and myself, and there was many cities that were definitely interested in this because they understood the economic impact that it would have. One of our goals is economic development, and we have SCDC here that's showing economic development, and this is going to tour that, and it's going to impact it heavily. And so then it limits us what we can and can't do. We already have, through DLCD, we have land use protections and floodplain issues that we deal with already. So this is going way beyond that, which is, I mean, it's hard enough to deal with what we already have. which I think is great, because we need to have protection of land and those type of things, and land use planning, but this is way beyond that, which is going to impact us and this whole state. So, Carmen, did you have a comment? Okay. So anyway, I definitely support this. I think it's the way to go. Chelsea and I are on this weekly, weekly LOC meeting with multiple cities and counties that are involved in this. And I mean, it's something that we all are scratching our heads, trying to figure out how to do it. I want to commend Chelsea. She answers a lot of questions that are asked, because I don't think a lot of people have kept up as much as Chelsea has. So I appreciate that. So Anyway, I think we should have our staff look into it and move forward on it. I'm not sure it's 10,000. I know that's what Henry from Warrenton, he's the mayor up there that's on this committee, had mentioned to me one other time. I'm not sure that's still the ask at this time, but I think that we should participate. And if so. I think the downside, I mean, the other thing, I know I'm really getting, if this continues, don't we have to hire staff to start dealing with this, Chelsea?
So right now, council chose door 4 as presented in this information, which is we require the applicant to go to a professional and to determine is an ESA incidental take permit required, which is what we are responsible to do per current CFRs, Code of Federal Regulations. The next piece is that we have to start collecting data for development, how much impervious surface goes away, how many trees go away. So right now, it's not been a big hit, depending on if we have to start implementing these standards FEMA is wanting us to implement. That is a bigger lift, as well as the data collection. So yes, it could turn into we need more staff to be able to handle that, plus the building, plus normal land use, so.
Yeah, so I guess my point
I
is.
have a motion, sorry to argue.
My point is that this could cost us many more thousands of dollars than the 10,000. Besides economic development loss, also it could cost us a lot in staff. So, Troy, sorry, go ahead.
I would like to make a motion that the council direct staff to pursue membership in the Organizers for Floodplain Protection Coalition, including potential for financial support for legal action against FEMA.
Second.
Very well done. Thank you. Good motion. Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All in favor say aye.
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 And I want to thank staff and everyone for your support on this. I appreciate it. Next item is City Manager's Report. I almost skipped you.
That's okay. You caught yourself and we're here, so. Normally, around this time, we are talking about your council goals setting session, and I've been working with a facilitator who did SCDC's strategic plan, and so I think we've got it tied down. We're looking at currently at February 8th, so if we can get that on your guys' calendars to kind of hold as a slot, that's a Saturday. I'd like you to block out a good solid 8 hours, but we'll hope to do it in 6. You're all in charge of your own destiny in that regard, so as well as you can pull together ideas and collaborate, we can make that or as short as or as long as you'd like. Also working on connecting with League of Oregon Cities for some training related to how council interacts and just the process that you go through as elected officials and how we as staff support that. There's several options available with League of Oregon Cities, and I think it's great. We've got one new member. I know since I've at least been working directly with you guys, we haven't had this sort of training, so I think it's good we do this every so often anyways. So working on what kind of forum that might be, whether they come here locally, we do something online, or just kind of give you some webinar links to look at, but more to follow on that. We had this week the kickoff meeting for the collaboration with the hospital on their property. potentially looking at the 16 acres that they have available for development. Just a kickoff meeting, but it brought all of the group together, DLCD, ODOT, the hospital, and the city. So more to follow on that. It's just starting. The community process will be a big piece of that's coming up. So I had the opportunity to attend the launch party of the Soulmates Walking Guide. If you don't have any background on that, it's a really great program that started about 18 months ago in collaboration with OHSU to encourage some physical activity in communities. Our library is one of 20, I believe, that applied for that. And from that, a group of, I think, roughly 20 people came together and worked on this guide. It's a really great little booklet of all of the walking trails that are accessible and have amenities that would appeal to a large audience. It's got some, trails and toppets, the Millicoma Marsh Trail, but the bigger kind of thing there is it added some activity for folks in the community. So just kind of a shout out to that. And then just a reminder that OBAB is doing their second Saturday cleanup, starting with the first one this year on Saturday at Millicoma Marsh Trail. Usually really great involvement, open to the community. If you like to do some volunteering, they start at noon. Check-in, I believe, is 1:45. So that's what I have.
So the goal setting's not every year, right? We do it every 2 years?
It's every 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, did I say annual?
I don't know.
Okay.
Just was clarifying it in my own mind. Thank you. Okay. All right. Next item is.
Sure, I had a question.
Sorry, a comment related to meeting with Berea Hospital and their
Yes.
property. I was in a conversation with Keith Timchuk, who was excited about that and is involved with eye sector. So you're aware of that? Do I need to sit for this email? Because he'd like to get that listed on their site.
Yes, so I'm meeting with him and Stephanie Hadley, who's our regional housing coordinator, and he's gonna walk us through the projects that need to get on that site, so.
So I was almost too late.
Nope.
He gave me this information 3 weeks ago.
Okay, no, you're not too late. It gives me a cue in that's when we for sure wanna get in there,
Okay,
so yeah,
I will
absolutely.
just forward this to you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Nicole? All right, council comments. Carmen.
All right, well, I just wanted to take a moment to personally verbalize my thanks to Chief Anderson. He's been someone we've all been able to rely on and ask questions of, and has been super supportive, and I've really enjoyed getting to know you and your passion for the safety of our community and emergency preparedness. Definitely has rubbed off on me, and I'm ready to take that website class. I haven't done it yet, I'm sorry. But it's in the back of my mind all the time, I promise.
It sits on my desk. It stares at me all the time. After you're gone, Mark, we'll all have it. Do it then, right?
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. I promise. This is gonna be my retirement gift to you. In addition, I really want to thank the Parks members that we honored today. I'm on the Parks Commission as well. I've served with both of them. Bev has been there for a long time and kind of helped me get into the details of how the parks works, and just looking at what she has done at the Choshi Gardens, and I mean, just what a gift to this community. I walk down there all the time, and I just sing her praises every time I walk through the Choshi Garden. So I really want to just really reiterate the gratitude that I think so many in this community have for that donation of time and energy and vision. I mean, it's absolutely spectacular. And the same goes for Coco Sutton, who has been a shorter term member, but gosh, like super busy and productive on the Parks Commission. She's going to continue to work tirelessly for the community, even though she's not having a formal role on the Parks Commission. But you know, what she's doing with the Mingus Park community building and the Adopt a Park pilot program, there's a lot going on that she's really organized and got started, and I think that this community will really reap the benefits of all of her hard work, especially farther down the line when her work really comes into fruition. All of those things really flourish. So I just want to, from the Parks Commission and my membership on that, and as a community member, I just really want to say thank you for all your hard work and dedication. The next thing, I guess, would be the floodplain lawsuit. I mean, I'm all about making sure we're focusing on clean water and taking care of the environment, but I do see the massive hindrance in what this is creating for our ability to really continue with improving the infrastructure of our downtown and housing, and I just didn't get a chance to say that, or to say my piece with that during that portion of the meeting. And I want to say I think we're heading in the right direction. So I also really expect that most of the things that we have in our city building codes already do a pretty adequate job of protecting the environment. And so I just want to thank the city staff for all their hard work on all this, and I know that's been a very difficult process to navigate, dealing with these new laws that are coming through. Other than that, I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday. It's good to be back, and just grateful to be here.
Thanks, Carmen. Troy.
I just wanted to say that we had some examples of tonight of the many people who give of their time, their talent, and their treasures. And there are so many of them that it makes it worth it to be here to help participate in the shared vision of a really prosperous, shining light on the coast of Oregon. So thanks for letting me be part of it.
Lucinda.
That's hard to follow, Councilor Cribbins. I just want to take this moment to thank the chief. Carmen, you said all the things, but I'm so grateful to you, having served on this council since 2016. I've learned so much. I've appreciated your kindness. 36 years, what a commitment to this community. I'd love to thank you, beautiful wife, for honestly allowing us to have him and how he has protected this community so well. So thank you for your sacrifice as well. And there's a box of fireworks, unused fireworks, under your chair that I've gifted to you because I didn't know what to do with them. And so you have fun with that, Chief, and you'll dispose of them. Wonderful, wonderful. So wonderful. I just want to say thank you. Truly, we have been so fortunate to have you. And I also want to ask a question of Nicole in regards to. I'm so glad to hear that we are considering board training. I think it's so valuable not only for this council. I know Councilor Cribbins and I have had that conversation of it's always good to have a refresher, and I think other boards might be interested in this, so I'm hoping that we'll reach out to other organizations to see if they might want to participate in this training as well.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, that's all I got.
Thanks. Stephanie.
It's terrible being at the end because everybody says all the nice things that you wanted to say. So I'll just go how much I appreciate all the work and the dedication of your family to do a tough job, but have the levity that you have that is needed in that type of service that you provide for our community, Chief Anderson. And you must have just been a baby when you started because I think I had 36 on the other end of the camera when I started in TV on the news side. So we were kind of there together at the beginning. And I have always appreciated you just as a person. And then your ability to, communicate the way you have with the media and the public, and bring the importance of fire safety and emergency preparedness, no matter what it is, disaster, to our community. It's a very important thing. We joke about it, but we will all get it done eventually. I have moved that card from one side of my bag to the other, and it's still there. I was going to look for it, but I didn't want to be digging under the desk here. But anyway, I will miss having a different color, so you have your person filling in for you after you leave will have to come up with the next color of cards so that we, anyway, I appreciate you. Also wanted to say thank you to SCDC folks that were here tonight. What a great presentation. Kind of the perfect storm where we had a lot of leadership positions open in economic development that came together. I love to see the collaboration of the chamber, SCDC, the cities, and all of that happening. And I think it's exactly what this community needed to move us forward. We're not looking backwards, we're looking forward, and we're seeing the effects of that. So I appreciate that. Also wanted to wish everyone a happy new year and congratulate the people from our Parks Committee that, wow, what a job they have done in serving this community. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thanks, Stephanie. Jacob.
Well, thank you to the chief as well. I've only had a few chances to meet him, but he graciously spent a couple hours with me walking me through how he does what he does and how he keeps the city functioning, especially after our tsunami warning. So thank you, and good job on earning retirement. Also, I wanted to throw a shout out for law enforcement, because today I stalled my car in the middle of Central, and an officer from Tribal Police happened to be the first one to get there, and she was calm, cool, and collected, and helped me get where I needed to go. And I also wanted to put a big shout out to the citizens, because I had not one but three different people roll up, push my car, help me out. One guy had groceries still in his car, and it made me feel pretty good to know that I've got such a great community around me. And yeah, so shout out to everybody, and Happy New Year.
Thanks, Jacob. Well, I just want to carry on and thank Mark for his service. I mean, you have set the standard, and you know, we have a wonderful staff, and sometimes I don't think we appreciate how fortunate and lucky we are in this community. So, Mark, you know, it's been a long time. I've seen you multiple times up here. You know, and you just keep going along. So, anyway, thank you so much. Your dedication is really admired, and so thank you. I also want to thank Bev and Coco for their service. Again, volunteerism, this community and city cannot operate without it, and so it's really important. We have over 100 volunteers, and this helps us do the service and the benefit that we have. So I want to thank you for that. I also want to take this time to congratulate Jeff Atkins as the incoming fire chief. We look forward to working with you and seeing that different color card that you'll be presenting us at some point. I also want to take this time to wish everyone a Happy New Year. I look forward to the excellent year that we have had in the city of Coos Bay. There was a Friday update that had listed the goals that we have achieved. Nicole's mentioned that we're going to have a goal-setting session here in 2025. 2 years ago, we did this, and we've accomplished many goals. I'm proud of what this council and staff has done in these 2 years. I know that we haven't been able to accomplish all that. I know this council keeps pushing, and we always stretch the bubble of what we want to accomplish, and we really put a tough situation for the staff to accomplish. So we know that they probably won't be able to accomplish it all, but we'd like to really set the goal for them. And so I appreciate everything that they've done to get us to those goals. Also, one of our main ones, again, is economic development. That's something that we strive on every goal, and so I'm glad to see SCD where it is. We have a new economic development person also on board that is working with SCDC, and so I look forward to more economic development, and I see it happening all the time. I always ask Nicole for the numbers, and I'm always surprised at what we've done in that amount of time. So anyway, it's really nice to see. And I want to end on a sad note. Unfortunately, we lost a member of our community, Joe Neal. It's sad. And so anyway, condolences to his family, and I'll end on that note. So thank you, everyone. We don't have an executive session. That's just the placeholder. So anyway, that's the end of our meeting, no urban renewal, and I get to adjourn it. So have a good evening.